What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Shout out to everybody that was listening to my live stream. That's the longest stream I think I've ever done, man. I almost streamed for 5 hours. I had to end it, man. I had to get something to eat, man. Shit, I hadn't eaten since 7 o'clock this morning. I was getting a little peakish. Yeah, I'm done now. I'm done now. Well, actually, I've been done about 30 minutes ago. But toward the end of my live stream, one of my subscribers sent me a link to a clip from YouTube of Stephen A. Smith, and I guess Max Kellerman too, whining about Dr. J's top five. And for good measure, I looked at Undisputed too. They talked about it. And even though Shannon Sharp was more diplomatic about it, I could still tell that he didn't like that Julius Erving, that LeBron James wasn't on that list. All right, Skip seemed like he was about to fucking combust on the stage. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have the Michael Jordan on that team. Oh, it's just it's blasphemous. You know, let me say this, man. I found it interesting how last week a lot of the extreme LeBron fans were giddy about Dr. J because he put out the opinion that he thought the Brooklyn Nets were trying to buy a championship, right? So that lets you know right then and there that Julius Erving has a problem with what he perceives to be as uh, a super team or a team that was specifically brought together through conspiring, I guess. You know what I'm saying? And but now all of a sudden, they hate him because he doesn't have LeBron James in his top five. But then he doesn't have Michael Jordan either. And you don't see me throwing a hissy fit and crying and moaning and groaning and complaining. I'm listening to all of these takes, man. They keep saying, well, Julius Erving, you played on the super team. You played on a super team when you were playing with Moses. If you listen to what Julius Erving says, back in his day, yes, there were super teams, but you didn't conspire with. Look, you didn't see Julius Erving after he couldn't get it done in '77 and then '80, right? And then '82, right, when they lost the Lakers again, and he was getting older. You didn't see him say, you know what, man, I just can't get it done in Philly. I tried. I've been here for 6 years. I just can't get it done. So I'm going to go join forces with Larry in Boston. All right. Then let's say it's some big trade where they trade DJ or some other piece. They get Julius Erving. He goes there and he wins 4 championships in a row. No, they didn't have that back then. You were pretty much stuck with the team that you were with, unless you got traded. Management had more control. Now, I know some people are like, well, what's the difference between management and players? Well, that's the difference between what being a player is and being management. The management is supposed to be the ones that involve personnel, and the players are supposed to be out there. Their primary objective is to produce on the court, right? But now you got these guys who are not only players, but they also want to be GMs, and they and then they have people, not just themselves, that try to recruit players actively sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem that a lot of these older guys have with this generation. You know what I'm saying? And I have to be honest with you. I don't quite fault them for that. So if guys don't have LeBron in their top two or top three, or and people act like that's such a insult. It throws me. Like, how is that such an insult? You know what's an insult to me? The fact that Julius Erving, okay, a guy who up until recently had a case as the greatest small forward ever, top three all time small forward, top two if you ask some people, an icon, an official ambassador to the game. Okay, he was the most respected individual in basketball at the time of his retirement in 1987. But you got morons and idiots and buffoons and fanboys ridiculing his pick or his top five as if they're a bunch of bums. I can't stand some of you motherfuckers. I seen some young motherfucker, some young punk, talking about what these old heads don't understand is the players are just so much skill today. A nigga like Tony Snell could go to the league in the 70s, average 18 points a game. So let me get this right, you stupid motherfucker. You're telling me that Tony Snell, a guy who's only averaging 5 points per game in his career, and all he does is really shoot threes, right? Well, I didn't say that's all he does, but primarily a three-point shooter, right? He's gonna go into a league that's more physical, and there's no three-point line, and somehow magically he's gonna be more productive than, say, a Calvin Murphy, or almost as productive as, say, Ernie DeGrecio, or I know some people like, ooh, he's supposed to be like a all-star level guy in the 70s. Some of you dudes are just as stupid as fuck, man. This guy's top five is Will Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, and Oscar Robertson. He grew up watching basketball in the 1960s. He's been consistent with his top five being that for the past 57 years. Okay? 56, 57 years. If that's who his top five is, I don't have a problem with it. Oscar Robertson, for right now, still the all-time triple doubles leader, the first player, and for 55 years, the only player to average a triple double in a season, and would have had more if he played in this era. The best all-around player in the league back in the 1960s, everybody will tell you. Jerry West, legendary. Elgin Baylor, legendary. Wilt Chamberlain, in my opinion, the GOAT. Bill Russell, a little overrated, in my opinion, but still a great player. And I don't know what um, Stephen A. Smith talking about, so you gotta pick a choice between Wilt and Bill. That's his fucking list. If he wants to put Bill Russell at power forward, he can do so. Okay? Some people, for instance, might have Larry Bird and, and Magic Johnson on their all-time teams. Aren't they rivals? Weren't they perceived rivals? So what are you talking about? That's this man's list, and that's what he want to put on the list. That's his prerogative. Do you see me coming on here huffing and puffing? Hey man, how this dude don't have Michael Jordan on his list, man? Man, this nigga Julius Erving, old school ass nigga, you know what I'm saying, hating on Jordan. You know, man, he just mad because Jordan better than him. No, man, that's just me being petty and being a hater myself. That's what that is. All you motherfuckers are haters yourselves. And always accuse everybody else of being haters. You ever thought about looking at shit from his perspective? You selfish motherfuckers. Have you ever thought about anything other than your fucking selves and your own selfish motives and your own fucking thoughts? Have you ever thought about, well, maybe he idolizes these guys because, hey, some of these dudes like Bill Russell and Oscar, okay, and guys like that, they not only were great basketball players, but they were important in other areas. Bill Russell for activism and civil rights, as well as the 11 championship. Oscar Robertson was pivotal. He took the NBA to court so that players could have more freedom as far as free agency. Because he couldn't get out of Cincinnati to save his life. The only reason I think he got traded from Cincinnati, if I remember correctly, is because him and Bob Cousy didn't get along with each other. When Bob Cousy became the coach of that team. Elgin Baylor, as I said before, he saved the Lakers franchise by deciding to sign with them. They were about to fold. And Jerry West was just such a tremendous competitor. These players, these all-time great players, who's putting up phenomenal numbers before there was a three-point line, they left an indelible impact on this guy. When I have all of these guys in my top five, not all of them, but me being a historian, I don't have a problem with his list. Because Oscar to me is top 15 still, at least in that range. Jerry West is top 15-ish. Elgin Baylor's top 20. Bill Russell to me is top 15. Chamberlain's my GOAT. So I don't have a problem with that list. And if he got Michael Jordan his second team, look, when Julius Erving was doing his thing, guys were copying him. Guys were emulating him. All these moves these guys do now, all these dunks, all this shit originated from guys like him, Julius Erving. Do you know how much of an innovator he was? And this is another thing people don't understand. The best version of Julius Erving was not with the Sixers. By the time he joined the Sixers, he was 26, 27. Still great. But he started having knee problems by then. And he didn't play as many minutes. And he did have great teammates. Okay? And they took some of the load off of him. But when he was in the ABA, he was as close to Michael Jordan as you can think of. But when Julius Erving left the scene in 1987, Michael Jordan hadn't won anything yet. Julius Erving was literally getting standing ovations in every game that year, especially down the stretch, because everybody knew it was going to be his last season. Okay? He got the Kobe treatment. He got the Jordan treatment. He got the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar treatment. The true legendary treatment. So if he wants to put his list the way it is, he got every motherfucking right to do so. And all you hating ass motherfuckers who got a problem with that, go fuck yourselves deeply with the biggest fucking shiniest eggplant that you can find at your local market. And I really mean that shit. Fuck you. Fuck Stephen A. Smith. Fuck Skip Bayless. And fuck Shannon Sharp too. And if Max got a problem with it, fuck him too. And Molly, if she had a problem, fuck her too. Okay? Everybody know what he was saying. He was saying that the guys today, they conspire to join up with other guys. Okay? Everybody knows what he's talking about. Everybody knows what he's talking about when he says that. So at the end of the day, if that's what he want to penalize somebody for, fine. Because let's be honest. Another reason why the media don't like what Julius Erving says is because the media know that they're culpable in this shit too. The media or the love media. I don't like using that term because I don't want to make it seem like like I said, I'm trying not to make any attacks on LeBron. I mean, this is anything about him. This is more about the media. But let's be honest. The media did put a lot of pressure collectively on Anthony Davis to get up out of New Orleans and go to LA, right? The media was pushing for Drummond to go from Cleveland to LA, even though it was like multiple choice for a while, but they was pushing him to go to LA. You know what I'm saying? The media was pushing for Kawhi Leonard to go join forces with LeBron in LA before he pulled the double cross at the end, right? The double cross. Just this year, you saw a little bit of smattering of Curry going to join LeBron in LA. So the media has a lot of culpability in this. Okay? So I think a lot of these dudes feel a little personally insulted because they know their role in this bullshit. So that's the penalty. If you look in some people's eyes, okay, some of these older players' eyes, if that's how you had to build a team, you got to get a little penalized for that. It's almost, when you think of it, this isn't the exact same thing, but it's almost a slight penalty for having a like a I don't want to say a steroid team, but yeah. So like having a penalty for having a team that's super loaded. Okay, you don't get as much credit. If the Brooklyn Nets win the championship this year, will people really see that as a remarkable accomplishment? A team that pretty much almost everybody from the beginning of the season pegged to win the title, other than maybe the Lakers. So would that really be like, wow, an amazing accomplishment? No. So, yeah, I understand where Julius Erving's coming from. I have a problem with it. Tell me what you guys think.